Good afternoon and welcome to the Automotive Tide. I'm Andrew Charbonnet, your host. What in the world is going on in Volkswagen land? First they come out saying that, hey, we're $200 billion in debt, but we think it's a great move to invest $5 billion to keep Rivian from bankruptcy so that we can acquire their EV technology, because that's where we think that the market is shifting towards. That's where we think the demographic is going. But now they're coming out saying that they have to do a $10.9 billion savings program or cost-cutting scheme because they are no longer competitive in their market. So they think that, a bunch of people got around the table and said, hey, we're going to act like we never said to our people that we're not going to lay off anybody until 2029, that we're going to do that as a gradual thing. We're going to act like we never said any of that. And we're just going to start laying people off so that we can start moving and shifting our focus on how to be competitive in the new and future market, which we think is going to be all EV. It's just wild. That's because that's not where it's heading, especially because we're moving into, some say that we're moving into a deflationary cycle, aka the contraction of the money supply, which means that assets are going to matter most. And traditionally speaking, automobiles are not appreciating assets. Yes, we had the rare instance in 2020 to 2022 after COVID where your used vehicle was worth $10,000 to $15,000 more than what you paid for it, and that's simply just because there was a shortage on new car inventory. But traditionally speaking, no, cars are not appreciating assets. And I would think if I'm getting together at a round table that I'm going to try to come up with a solution that says, hey, how can we be competitive moving into uncertain times? How can we be competitive moving into times where there's economic instability? There's instability in jobs right now. There's a lot of downsizing going on. People are not just going to rush into the EV market when they're trying to get away from all the electronics because they just need something to get them to and from work. They're not interested in the mass population right now is not interested in buying the next cool thing. They're literally trying to come together as families to say, hey, how can we weather this storm right now? And I think a lot of people are trying to figure out what are they going to do. Even a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck right now. So I don't know if Volkswagen's in their own little bubble, and they think that this savings program is going to be something that pulls them out of it if they're just trying to appease to the shareholders. But whatever they're doing, I think they need to reevaluate what's going on here and understand that the majority of the population is not really interested in the EV technology right now. They're just not. And I'm not saying it won't ever be. That'll always be the case. But right now, people are more interested in, hey, how can we stay afloat while there's so much instability going on? And I think that a lot of people are going to turn inward and say, hey, how can we keep this car that we have afloat while we weather the storm? And I just think that it's just blowing my mind that Volkswagen is doing this next big move. It's like borrowing, crash. And then they just get to start over again. There's really no accountability. And that may be the other reason too, is because they know they'll just be bailed out again. I don't know. It's just really wild. And they really haven't been that innovative either. So I don't know what they're thinking they're going to come out with. It's just going to shock the world and be like, oh, Volkswagen made the newest and greatest EV. I don't think that's going to happen either. Again, as we've discussed, Tesla runs the market in that too. So all they got to do is just a big price dump. And then next thing you know, Volkswagen's hurting again. I just don't think this is going to be very beneficial to them. And looking at their stock value and looking at the trend in their production and what they've come out with, it hasn't been just stellar. It hasn't at all. And the last innovative thing that they've had that's just blown the market away is the Beetle. And what was that, like 45, 50 years ago? So it's just crazy. But thank you for tuning into the Automotive Tide, where we keep you up to date with the ebb and flow of the automotive industry. You guys have a good night.